Hey everybody, now that we know what the quadratic formula is, we're going to learn how to use it to solve a quadratic equation. So again, it is a formula, which yes, it means you need to memorize it. So again, the best way to memorize it is to sing. So let's sing it one more time. X equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, if you look at that formula, the x is already isolated. So all we're going to have to do is learn how to work that right side. On the right side, you have three different variables, a, b, and c. So that means to use the quadratic formula, we're going to need three numbers. Those numbers are not going to fall from the sky. You're not going to make them up. They're going to come from the quadratic equation I give you that I want you to solve. If you remember from back when we were talking about the definition of a quadratic equation, the definition of a quadratic equation is written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Do you hear those letters, a, b, and c? So, when I want to work with the quadratic formula, I need three numbers. Those three numbers are going to come from the quadratic equation I give you. You can't mix up which number's which. This is the rule. A is the coefficient in front of x squared. B is the coefficient in front of x. C is the constant. So that's why I've been harping on you guys to always write your equations in descending order. So when you write your quadratic equation and all your terms are on the left side and they're in the correct descending order, the letters go A, B, C. A is in front of x squared, B is in front of x, C is the constant. Realize this, you may not have a quadratic equation that has all three terms. You may not have the bx part or the constant part, the c part. And if those are missing, then they would have the value of 0. You have to have an a, x squared, because if you don't have an x squared, then it's not quadratic. So these are the steps on how you use the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic equation. Now, I know when you look at the PowerPoint, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, there's 7 steps. But really, it's not that bad. So step 1 is, I'm going to give you a quadratic equation. You're going to make sure it's in the correct descending order and it's set equal to 0. All the terms are on the left side in the correct order. Then you're going to get your values of a, b, and c and substitute them into the formula. So that's not hard. We know how to do that. Then once you put your numbers into the formula, it becomes arithmetic. And what happens here, we're going to have to follow order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P means please do what's inside the grouping symbol. So when you work with the quadratic formula, you're going to start with the grouping symbol, the square root. You're going to work inside of it and get one number. So you're going to square b, you're going to multiply -4 times a times c, and you're going to put those two numbers together. Once you get one number inside the square root symbol, then you can actually do the square root. So now we got through step 3 and 4. Once you do the square root, then we're going to have to rewrite this formula as 2 equations. Because remember, every quadratic equation has 2 solutions. And in that formula, there's a plus or minus. And that means there's going to be 2 answers. So you're going to rewrite this formula as 2 parts. One with the plus, one with the minus. Then you're going to take everything in the numerator and put it together. Get one number in the numerator. And then the last step is to divide by the denominator and make sure your answer is in lowest terms. If you look, why we waited till the end of the semester to do this formula is it encompasses everything you've learned. It deals with exponents, it deals with order of operations, it deals with square rooting, and it deals with fractions. So that's why we had to wait all the way now to the end to work with this formula. It is not a hard formula to work with. I know it looks intimidating, but I'm telling you, breathe. We're going to work through it. It's going to be great. Okay, I'll see you in the next module.